At Xiaomi's Changping facility outside Peking, a smartphone rolls off the production line roughly once every second around the clock, with no one on the factory floor to see it happen. The lights quite literally are off because robots working entirely through infrared sensors, lidar, and machine vision have no need for visible light at all. This is what the industry calls a dark factory, and it's no longer a concept demonstration. It is real operating production facility, one of hundreds now running across China. A dark factory is a fully automated manufacturing facility with no human presence on the production floor. Itself, robots handle assembly, inspection, material handling, and quality control in an unbroken continuous cycle. Because no workers are present, none of the infrastructure built around human presence is needed either. No overhead lighting, no climate control turned for comfort, no scheduled breaks or shift changes. The backbone technology is industrial robotics paired with real-time computer vision and IoT sensors, coordinated by AI systems making moment-to-moment production decisions without a human in the top. Here is the number that makes this genuinely remarkable. Rather than just technically impressive, China's manufacturing sector employed roughly 115 million workers at its peak around 213 by 2025. That figure had fallen below 85 million, a loss of more than 30 million manufacturing jobs. And this happened while China's manufacturing output and its export volumes climbed to record levels. Bloomberg's reporting captures the paradox directly. Chinese exports hit record high in early 2026, even as factory employment kept shrinking. Output and employment for the first time at this scale, but have genuinely decoupled. This concentration in China isn't accidental. It is the direct, deliberate result of Made in China 2025 industrial policy, launched in 2015, which explicitly targeted robotics, AI, and smart manufacturing as a strategic national priority. Backed by sustained government investment and subsidy, Foxconn, the world's largest electronics contact manufacturing, replaced roughly 60,000 workers with robots, and as its Kunshan facility alone. BYD and CATL, the world's largest electric vehicle battery maker, have both aggressively scaled robotic production across battery and vehicle assembly. This isn't a single company's experiment, it's a coordinated sector-wide industrial transformation. It is worth injecting some genuine skepticism here, because media coverage of dark factories tends to run well ahead of the operational reality. Industry analysis, published in Quality magazine in March 2026, makes a pointed, well-supported case that most manufacturers are not, in fact, pursuing full lights-out operations across their entire networks. Instead, they're selectively applying automation to specific, well-suited processes while deliberately keeping people involved in supervision, quality judgment goals, and continuous process improvement. Even Gartner's widely cited projection that 60% of manufacturers will adopt some form of this model by 2026 refers to partial adoption of automation techniques, not full workless operation across an entire company's production footprint. The most credible current analyst projections suggest a genuinely fully autonomous automotive assembly plant, producing complete vehicles with zero direct human involvement is realistically still several years away, like arriving around 2030 at the earliest. The displacement pattern is genuinely uneven across industries, and understanding where it's concentrated is more informative than the aggregate number alone. Electronics assembly has seen the most dramatic automation, with companies like Foxconn converting entire production lines to robotic operations. Textile and garment manufacturing, traditionally reliant on enormous numbers of workers for cutting and sewing, has seen robotic systems replace hundreds of thousands of workers as machine vision and precision robotics matured enough to handle flexible fabric. Historically, one of the largest and hardest materials for robots to manipulate reliably. Automotive manufacturing has automated welding, painting, and assembly almost completely at the leading edge. Even food processing and pharmaceutical manufacturing sectors with more complex regulatory and hygiene requirements have seen meaningful workforce reduction as AI-powered inspection and packaging systems have matured. A single statistic from the International Federation of Robotics puts China's position in global context better than any anecdote can. Robot density, the number of industrial robots installed per 10,000 manufacturing workers, reached 392 in China by 2023, compared to a global average of 141. China installed 290,367 industrial robots in a single year. 2022, accounting for 52% of the entire world's total robots installations that year. This is not a story of China simply keeping pace with a global automation trend. By every available density metric, China has been running meaningfully ahead of the rest of the world's manufacturing base for several years now, which is precisely why the employment effects are showing up the first and most visibly. The strategic trajectory China has demonstrated carries a clear, if uncomfortable, implication for every other manufacturing economy watching this unfold. Same robotics and AI vision technology enabling the shift is not proprietary or geographically locked to China. It is increasingly available globally as falling cost. The genuine question isn't whether other major manufacturing economies eventually see a comparable employment output decoupling, but how quickly and whether the workforce transition, new roles in robotics, maintenance, supply chain coordination, and industrial cybersecurity, all specifically mentioned as growth areas in current labor market analysis, happen fast enough to meet the pace of displacement, rather than trailing years behind it. A factory that builds a phone every second in the dark with nobody watching is a genuinely striking image, but a more consequential story isn't the darkness. It is the decoupling for the first time at a real industrial scale. A major economy has demonstrated that manufacturing output and manufacturing employment no longer have to move together, with whatever comes next and how the rest of the world responds to that fact will likely matter more than the robots themselves. Thank you for your presence. Look forward to see you in the next deep dive.